now.
Hi, this is Sabrina Gibson, and I'm a partner with Imagine Wow, and we get to interview the coolest celebrities, top experts in the world, and just amazing all-around people. And today I have Marsha Reynolds, and she certainly fits into that category. She's one of the top executive coaches in the world, and she's the author of 2 award-winning books with a third on the way. And she's also taught leadership. Now, this is a person who's not only taught leadership, she literally wrote the book on it and really is helping people lead leaders. And she's done this by teaching leadership and also coaching classes in 34 countries in 6 different continents. If you can imagine that, that's a lot of places. And she's frequently asked as the keynote speaker at major conferences all around the world. So it's such a pleasure to have you here, Marsha.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, how did you earn the right to be a leadership thought or a thought leader? I mean, really a leader of leaders, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think it's because I have this unsatiable curiosity to really learn how to change behavior. So I've been teaching leadership for well over 30 years. I want to quit counting. But it seemed like when people were really stuck and they were having to deal with difficult changes and changing habits that have been they'd had forever, that they didn't know how, and leaders can't just tell people to change. So I just went on this journey to learn what happens in the brain, how do we help people change, what is it that we need to do in order to trigger the points that would allow people to really see themselves and see the world differently. And so I took all that and put it together, and I'm able to articulate how leaders can do this thing, which seems like creating magic. But it's really a way of truly listening and being with people differently than most leaders do today.
That's interesting. I've always heard that sometimes just being present, just being fully present. I mean, that's why people, I think, sometimes don't catch people's names because they're so worried about how they look or whatever. Is that kind of the similar with leaders? Is that what you're finding?
Well, it is, but it's being present at a much deeper level. Most people think being present is just clearing the mind, but truly understanding what centers do you access in your entire nervous system that gives you information about what the person is saying. We call it intuition, but most people don't know how to teach intuition. They think it's just some strange thing from outer space, but it's really inner space. It's inner space that we access, and people are giving us information all the time, and we don't know how to read it. So I teach people how to read that information and then to translate it in a way where they can provide good reflection and ask questions that just totally change people's perspective and
Wow.
mindset.
And would you say those are the top 3 problems that you solve, or what are you finding to be the top problems in organizations that are with leaders?
Well, it's always all about people. I mean, you can define strategies and goals, but it's people who have to implement. And most people really do want to do their best, but there's things that get in their way, and so it's the person who's stuck and they can't see their way forward, or it's when people are interacting, because humans, when they come together, there's always, it's not so harmonious. And so how do people really click together? And also how to engage people so they not only are loyal to a company, but they can give their best. So in terms of problems, we're looking at sticky behavioral issues, turnover and engagement, and the old classic, how do you deal with people resisting change?
Wow. I mean, that's something we hear every day, don't we? I mean, change is when the constant we get out there.
Yeah. Right. And you can't just, give people a reward and say, here, change.
That's interesting. So what's the number one way that you're solving these problems?
Really is connection and communication, but a particular communication style. So when I work with people, it's a leadership coach approach that they need to have, but it really is a matter of deep listening and sharing and respecting people at a level while you use feedback that could cause a little discomfort. So it's all in the connection and the energy, as well as knowing what questions to ask.
That's really great. What is there a tip that you can share with us today that would make a difference maybe for organizations that are looking to lead their leaders? Or
Yeah. Well, the first thing that leaders need to do is they need to be interested and curious and care about the person that they're with. They often think they have to solve problems and fix things right away, whereas the person in front of them really needs to be heard and understood. And the only way you can know what to say to a person that might change their mind is if you really hear and understand them first, because they're going to give you a clue. They're going to give you a hint of what it is that's blocking them when they talk. So if you listen for that, it's not just showing them respect, but it's listening for the information you need that will help them to change their mind.
That's really powerful. I love that. It's amazing. A friend of mine actually said, no one cares how much you know until they understand how much you care. Is that right?
Right, and how we care, it's not just sitting there and going, I understand. You have to reflect back to them what they're saying and summarize it so they feel understood. And that then sets the place, sort of the safety net. So when you're ready to ask them a tough question that makes them truly think about their thinking, they still trust you. So that's why I call my work being in the discomfort zone, but you have to create comfort before you can then move them into a little place of discomfort.
Interesting. I love that. So it's almost like you create a little safe zone for them to be who they are, and
safety bubble.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I adore you. You know that, and we love to ask this question from everyone, so there's no right or wrong, but how would you define social media?
Yeah. Well, to me, social media is the way of just reaching out and touching people, in mass, but still on an intimate level. So even though I may put something out and there may be thousands of people that see it, the way that I express it, they still feel I'm talking to them. So I love the dichotomy that even though it's a mass communication, it feels like a one-on-one connection.
And you're so good at that. I mean, everything I read from yours, I feel like you're speaking directly to me. I mean, you're just a real, I call you the queen of helping people feel safe with change, because you do definitely provide that safe zone for people to feel uncomfortable, or, the comfortable zone so they feel uncomfortable or discomfortable. Is that right? I don't even know if that's a word, but I think it's made up a new word here.
Discomfortable. Let's just make up words. On social media, you can do that.
That's right.
That's true.
I mean, you wrote the book on leadership, so why not write the dictionary on words? I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. We're creating new ones all the time, really. When you look at the new words every year they're putting in the dictionary, so much of it has to do with the whole, internet age and how we're changing communications with social media. So
that's so cool. Well, and really, if you're the queen of the, making people feel comfortable and change, with social media happening, how are you using social media right now for your own business?
Well, it's the way that I can stay in contact with everyone that that I, not just that I work with individually, but hopefully people in the future and anyone interested in my work. And so I love to share. I love to research, learn new things, and then share them with people. I mean, that's how I get to keep being excited about my work. And so social media just allows me all these different avenues that I can share. I can have dialogue with people, even though I'm sitting here in my living room with just my cat.
And the other thing I really love about because of where your work takes you,
Mhm.
I love going to your social profiles to look at the places you visited. I mean, I just
Mhm.
recently saw your pictures from Russia. I mean, it was just incredible. So
Yeah.
any of the travel buffs out there, I mean, really would also really dig your stuff.
Yeah,
I love that.
thanks. I'll be in China next month, so look for the photos.
Where's been your favorite place to travel? A little off the beat question here.
People always ask that, but it's like each new place is so new. Sure that, Southern Europe is gorgeous. There's so many places, but like even the people in Kenya were just so eager to learn and so friendly. And Kazakhstan, yeah, it was like it's Astana, Kazakhstan is just this brand new city. It was just awesome. So every place I go, there's just something new and exciting. When people say, "Where would you like to go back to?" I'm like, "No, where's the next new place?" you know. So
That's cool. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
What would be your number one recommendation for businesses that are maybe considering social media? Because the change is a little bit scary, I think, for
Yeah.
people.
Well, my marketing mantra is always go be visible, because I don't like doing, direct sales the old way. It's ugh. But how people know me and why I can travel to all these places is because of social media, because I meet people all over the world, so if I'm writing blogs and putting things out there and connecting with people on LinkedIn and Twitter, Facebook, then people from all over the world can see what I share, and then I meet them, I end up going there and being with them, and it's the way of building your business. If you have to do it just face to face, one on one, it's just too slow. So,
Interesting. I love that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I have to say the last 3 years for me have been probably the most exciting out of the internet space just because of
Hmm.
how fast and then we're getting smarter about the way
Yeah.
to actually communicate with people. I mean, we're almost kind of, going back to the beginning and putting
Hmm.
our common sense hats on and relating to people. And you
Right.
do it so well. I mean, everything you do, you speak, even though you're speaking to many, you speak to that
Mm.
one person, trying to make a difference. And I think that's an
Mhm.
excellent way to handle
Yeah.
your brand. I mean, you're just, and I love that. Go be visible. I didn't see it in your tagline, but I really like it.
You can use it. I don't teach marketing, so that's just advice.
I love it. But I always say wow when I'm with you, Marcia, for sure. How are you putting the wow in your business, or how are you differentiating yourself
Mhm.
from anyone else out there? And I don't know that you even have to try at this point because you've gotten so many credentials.
Um, I go back to that. I'm always wanting to learn what's the newest research, particularly in behavioral change and brain science, but how we can adapt it on an everyday basis. And a leader sits and talk to somebody in front of them, and so I differentiate myself because I'm not repeating the same old stuff. I'm coming up with what's new and new things for them. And so I think if we choose like one particular area that we can become an expert, but then you have to stay up on what's the latest research so you can provide people new things. If you're just recycling what people have discovered 5-10 years ago, it's like, well, so's everybody else. you know so I just pick my area of expertise, and I just try to stay on top of that and keep giving people new ideas that they can use, and a new understanding as we come up with the new understanding, and that's how I differentiate it.
I
So
love it.
yeah.
Yeah, and definitely it's about reinvention. I think we're
Hmm.
constantly reinventing our own selves. I mean, becoming a better version of,
Have to. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it gets tiring sometimes, but but like even my new book, it's like it's called The Discomfort Zone, and so many people think, oh, it's about teaching me to be to deal with discomfort, and not be uncomfortable. And it's like not that at all. That's so old. Like let go of the discomfort. This is about creating discomfort because that's when people learn. And so that's like, turned upside down. I'm saying go create some discomfort, help people to know that they don't know everything, and that's okay. Because in the moment of uncertainty and not knowing, that's when people learn.
Mm,
So,
that's
it's like
powerful.
taking old stuff and turning it upside down and helping people see how they can use this to create great results.
I love that. T. Harv Eker from Peak Potentials used to
Hmm.
say, if you want to increase your money zone, you got to get into your discomfort zone.
Yeah.
But what he didn't tell you is to create that safe zone, like what you're talking about, and
Yeah.
allowing people really to step into their greatness from being
Yeah.
discomfort. What
Yeah.
is the word? I'm going to say discomforted.
Yeah. Well, discomfort pull.
I like it. I really like the new word. I
Yeah.
hope to see it in the dictionary, and I hope to see your name next to it.
Right.
Well, talk a little bit about your new book because I'm pretty excited about this.
Mm.
And can you give like maybe 3 or 4 things that people could expect to get from your
Hmm.
book?
Sure. So it's called The Discomfort Zone, How Leaders Turn Difficult Conversations into Breakthroughs. So it does look at, what types of situations would you be dealing with. But again, it's people that are that just have some blind spots or blocks. And the thing is that just like you can't tickle yourself, it's very difficult for us to truly analyze our thinking. And find out what's stopping us. So this is a way for leaders to help people think for themselves, to see beyond, what's stopping them. But you just can't tell people that because they will resist it. So it gives people a means, first again, creating that trust uh, and safety in a conversation. And then from that point, what are the things that they would reflect and questions, where do they find the questions to ask that would make a difference? So there's some conversation technique involved in this and a model that they would follow in order to create these breakthrough moments. And then to know when somebody's never going to change. So there's certain factors that they can look for in terms of like willingness, desire, and courage that would indicate that that would require something else. So it helps them discern when to have what types of conversations in order to uh, not just help people, but for them to be successful in the moment as well.
I love it.
Hmm.
So I know
Yeah.
people are going to want to get a hold of that. When does
Hmm.
it come out, and how can they get a hold of it?
Yeah. Well, it comes out in October, but it's available already on Amazon for pre-order. So so if you look up The Discomfort Zone, you'll find the book on Amazon. So, yeah.
Exciting. Well, I
Yeah.
I am so tickled. I want to go get it.
Yeah,
I
great.
love the whole. I wonder how many people here try to tickle themselves because I wanted to, but I was like I didn't want to, anyone to see me. So
So,
man, I imagine I love that. I mean, it
mhm,
makes a lot of sense that it is sometimes hard to. I think they say to see the trees through the forest.
yeah.
So I would imagine the same thing goes when we're trying to shift our behavior.
Yeah.
It's easier to have kind of a sounding board.
Well, it's like we can't, it's very difficult to do on your own, but if you've got somebody that can help you be a thinking partner, that just asks you certain questions that kind of pop through the blocks and you go, oh, I never thought of that. Um, or you might even see something that you've been doing for years that has been getting in your way. But in order for leaders to know what questions they ask that will make that difference, they have to listen in a very particular way, and that's what the book teaches. How do you listen to know what question to ask that's going to make the difference for the person? So there's a very specific technique that I teach in the book. Yeah.
I can imagine. I just can think of about 50,000 applications for this. I would imagine people in sales could use this for
Hmm.
when they're dealing with clients. Would that be
Yeah.
right?
Well, there is traditional leadership, but certainly coaches can use it, managers, salespeople, parents, especially parents of teenagers, because you can't tell a teenager what to do. But you might
Wow.
be able to ask a question that would make a difference. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm over here just like thinking, even anybody in any leading situation, whether you're in a
Yeah.
nonprofit or, I mean, there's
Right.
just a gazillion opportunity. If you're a volunteer, even for a nonprofit, there's lots of opportunity to listen in a way that moves organizations. So,
Right.
wow, Marcia, amazing. I'm excited to see what impact this has on the world. I hope everybody goes out. I mean, who couldn't use the book is really the question, right?
Hope so. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, very cool.
Hmm.
Well, I want to thank you so much. I'm a huge fan of yours. I so appreciate your time, and I hope that
Thanks.
you come back when the book releases. And
Oh, definitely. Hmm.
knowing you, you'll have already the next book in the works or on your feet, right?
Yeah, probably.
That's awesome.
Okay, great. Thank you,
Thank you so
Sabrina.
much, Marcia. I really
Hmm.
appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone tuning in. I hope you come back. As you can see, we get to play with some of the smartest people on the face of the planet who are literally um, creating paths for people to follow that makes it easier for their lives. And I think, Marcia, you've certainly done that for millions across the world, and I'm grateful for the knowledge I've gained from you, and I really appreciated your time here together. So
Hmm.
if you'd like to learn more about Marcia, where can they go, Marcia?
Well, my website is outsmartyourbrain.com. That would be the most logical place. But I'm all over social media. So if you look for Marsha Reynolds, you'll find me.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. I hope everyone connects, and please go to Amazon.com and look for her book. It's an amazing tool. I think every family could benefit, every leader, every business could benefit from it. And please tune back in. We bring on all kinds of experts just like Marcia, and I hope you come back again. Thanks so much.
Great. Thanks, Sabrina. Bye.